Everyone, it's Black Friday, biggest shopping holiday of the year. So I decided to do a little impromptu why I kept it special. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, one of the things you see me post a lot about is deals. I'm not afraid to throw it out there if I see a game at a really good price. Hey, I want to help people out. I also like to hunt down Barnes & Noble clearance deals when they pop up. They have their seasonal red dot clearance special. So I want to see here, does getting a game for a cheap price mean that's how I've built up this collection? Do you kind of get what you pay for? Maybe I've gotten rid of all my cheap games? Or what's really the story here? Should you go out hunting games just because they're cheap? How is it reflected in my collection? Let's take a peek. I'll start off here by looking at which ones have I actually scooped up in Barnes & Noble. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot because most of these I wind up giving to my Extra Life charity team, whether we auction them off or raffle them. But I'm seeing Castle Panic immediately, which is something I've just been saving. It's more of a family title. It's not one I'm very interested in, but I want to play it with my daughter when she gets older. Ingenious down here is an abstract Reiner Knizia title. I'm a big fan of abstract strategy games, but hey, I guess I didn't feel too motivated because I only spent $2 on it that I really need to get to the table, so that one's been sitting dormant as well. Let's see what else is from Barnes & Noble here. Puerto Rico, one of the best games of all time. That was probably 5 or 6 years ago that hit their red dot clearance, and I scooped it up on the final $2 day. Another very good title is Survive. Good lightweight family strategy game. Want to take a look here. Are there any other Barnes & Noble clearance deals? They've had a lot go through their inventory in the past couple of years. I'm not seeing any, but Aquasphere stands out as a tasty minstrel game that is fantastic. Really good Stefan Feld heavy strategy game. This must have either been overproduced or just not sold through very well because they were having some Amazon inventory struggles. Amazon.com, if you do their fulfillment service, they charge a hefty fee if you keep their items in their warehouse at some regular interval. So there was a situation at one point where Tasty Minstrel was really just trying to shave the number of copies they held in inventory, and I managed to get a really good deal on Aquasphere. But that did wind up popping up even as the free giveaway game from them at BGG-Con, so something must have happened there, and it's a shame because Aquasphere is amazing. Parfum, I think that was something I bought at last Black Friday, or somewhere recent along the way, because that was only a couple dollars at Cool Stuff Inc. at one point. So I figured that's another very light strategy game that I'll start playing with the family. But again, you know, when you buy something so cheap, I haven't even played this one. I didn't feel like I had to get my money back for it, so it's just been sitting on the shelf. Campaign Manager 2008 is one I've already done an episode on. That was a $7 Tanga pickup. I did manage to get this to the table just recently because elections were on the mind, but it didn't really set the world on fire, and I'm not sure if it's going to survive in the collection. You may see it again in a future episode when I start culling some games and going over why I didn't keep it. And the same story might hold true for Star Wars Risk, which over the summer was out for a couple bucks on Amazon. I picked this one up because it was supposedly inspired by the rare Avalon Hill Star Wars game about 10-15 years ago, the Queen's Gambit. So it was inspired by that system, and people had good things to say, so I wanted to try it. And it was fun, but again, didn't set the world on fire, so I'm not sure what fate it will hold long term here. The only other games that were cheap here, let's see. I think Castles, Suburbia, and Takanoko, those were all cheap on Amazon at one point, but they weren't amazingly low-priced deals here. There are some games I picked up at thrift stores, but again, I wind up either giving those into trades or giving them to my Extra Life team as charity raffles. I've kept a couple of them though, but Nile you see up here was a couple bucks at a thrift store. That's a neat abstract game from the 70s. And I took this one out of the closet just now because I knew I was going to do this video. This is Rebound, which is a wacky dexterity game. It has you roll these ball bearings with plastic circles, trying to bounce them off these rubber bands and into the scoring zone. Now, kind of crokinole, shuffleboard-esque, that type of game. It's a lot of fun. I couldn't pass that up for a couple bucks. But that's a general overview of what's being had for a low price. For this many games, I'd say, I guess I've paid a decent amount for my collection here, although a lot of it did stem from many review copies from back in the day and decent high number of trades to get what's gotten here. But let that be either a word of advice or a word to the wise, whether it's really worth spending money on a game just because you see a hot deal today on Black Friday. You may just let it linger on the shelf because you didn't feel you need to get your money's worth out of it. Or, hey, maybe look at it as a gift idea. Buy it and don't let it linger on your shelf. Give it to a friend. Give a little extra in that BGG Secret Santa gift this year. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.